You're invited to this online healing retreat series, Calibrating to the Ascension Frequency with Dr. Suzanne Lee, channel of the Arcturians.
What I have been getting, and what I've heard from a lot of the people that I communicate with, is that we are really being called to change our lives. Because when we are in the midst of the third dimensional hustle, bustle, it is much more difficult to maintain a higher frequency of consciousness. And one of the main messages that I got from the Arcturians, which was really important for me personally, is that the frequency of your consciousness sets the frequency of your creation. And in our series, we're moving into creation of New Earth. So therefore, the frequency of our consciousness has to be at a pretty high level for as much as we can possibly pull it off. And we all know that there are certain things in life that just lower our consciousness. And there are certain things in our life that raise our consciousness and make us feel wonderful. So what I have been getting and what I would like to focus this next series on is knowing about what are the changes that we need to make in our life. There is a lot of things that we need to let go of. And the wonderful thing is that as we come to this juncture of our pathway, we no longer have to deal with a lot of things that bothered us in a personal or an ego manner. We can just see them as energy fields and bless them with unconditional love and let them go. And as we begin to consciously and from a higher state of consciousness look into our lives, we will begin to see the parts of our lives that pull us down and that lower our consciousness, and the parts of our lives that make us feel wonderful and expand our consciousness. Now, some of the consciousness lowering ones we can't change, but some of them we can, and some of them we can completely let go of. So I'd like to begin this next series by us exploring together what are the components of the third dimensional reality that specifically pull us down, each of us individually. It will be different things for different people. And how do we create a tranquil, calm, peaceful life? Because this is the part of the Ascension process where people in other times and other timelines would go up on a mountain or go into a meditation booth and meditate for months or years at a time. But we all have jobs and families, and we have to support ourselves in this reality. So that's not our choice to have. We don't get that choice. However, we can choose to let go of many parts of our lives that do not contribute to our ascension and actually pull us from that path and lower our consciousness so that we can focus our attention and intention on that which is assisting us to consciously create our new earth.
Now, here's Dr. Sue channeling a message from the Arcturians.
Our dear ones, we welcome all of you to join us in the now of our creating our new earth with our thoughts and our emotions. And we say our, including the galactics and the celestials, because as you, our grounded expressions, have come into this awareness that the most important thing that you can ever do is to work towards planetary ascension. Therefore, That is an entire change of lifestyle. When you put that at the top of your list, now, that does not mean that you have to ignore your children, because you are creating a better world for your children, or you have to ignore your job because you are creating a better environment for all the people that you work with. In other words, when you are also working on this higher level, for we know that our beautiful volunteers who have chosen to take on an earth vessel at this time are having, to a large extent, to have a job, to do work. However, work is a state of consciousness. When you are thinking, oh, this is so hard, I'm so tired, how did I do this, what's wrong with me? Then you go into a low state of consciousness, and then you create something that has mistakes, confusions, and anger and disappointment, because your creation is a reflection of your state of consciousness. On the other hand, if you can go into your, quote, work in a higher state of consciousness, for as long as you are able to maintain that state of consciousness, and believe us, beloved ones, we know how difficult that is. We understand that as you are awakening, you are becoming so empathic, so telepathic, so seeing the bigger picture. You are also having moments where you lapse out of time as you return into your timeless self, and perhaps you forget an instruction or make a mistake. We understand what you are going through. However, what you do have the ability to do, since you have left time, you can go back to that no time place to fix whatever apparently went wrong. Now, this might seem impossible, and to your third dimensional operating system, it is impossible. And so, therefore, the key to truly changing your life, to truly releasing every thought, action, behavior, or perception that lowers your state of consciousness, is to maintain this higher state of consciousness and remember that the state of your consciousness dictates the frequency of your creation. So as you go into something that would lower your state of consciousness, if you have a higher state of consciousness, you will be activating your multidimensional mind, who innately resonates to that frequency. You will also be activating your inner Kundalini, which we will also discuss in our next group. For the downloading and full integration of the multidimensional mind is a primary activating force for the development of your light body. We are very, very grateful to all of our wonderful beings in human disguise. Our dear ascending ones, we want to remind you that your states of consciousness are expanding more and more because the higher light is coming in to your pineal gland, and the higher light is allowing you to more easily perceive and connect with your multidimensional mind. And as your multidimensional mind puts down those little beams of light to move through your physical brain, you will find yourself moving into extremely high states of consciousness that you've never experienced before. However, because you are new, like when you first rode a bike or first skied down a mountain, you have a much greater chance of falling out. And so we want you to know that at this stage where you are moving in to a higher frequency than you have ever been able to move into, ever, in the history of Gaia, you are moving into a frequency of light that is beyond anything you have ever experienced in any of your incarnations. And so therefore it is important that you find the time to get fully grounded, to walk on the earth, to be with nature, to meditate, to be calm, to create, and most of all, to love. Love yourself, love others, love the earth. Send unconditional love. Send unconditional love to anything that disturbs you. Now, when you first fall out of that extremely high consciousness, you might forget everything that you learned there, because you learned it from your fourth dimensional brain, your multi-dimensional mind. And when you fall back to your third dimensional brain, it can't read it. You are changing operating systems. You are moving out of the DOS operating system of your physical brain into the iCloud of your multidimensional mind, where everything that everyone and everything and all life is experiencing within the now of the one is opening a portal to your individual self. We look forward to engaging with you again. Blessings be and unconditional love.
Register today for a single episode in this series or for the full series, Calibrating to the Ascension Frequency, with Dr. Suzanne Lee, channel of the Arcturians.